Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte. What's going on, 49ers faithful? Jason with the Saturday show. That's something that I don't normally do, but it's been a bit of lapse with content just because a lot of the things that have been out there about the 49ers have either been gossip-induced or things that aren't necessarily pressing issues at this point. But I would still be remiss if I didn't talk about all of the things that have happened this week. So if you're new here, if you're not, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe on the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. And also, real quick, let's pay some bills. I want to talk to you about Thrive Fantasy. Nope, in the corner up here. There we go. So Thrive Fantasy is a prop-based fantasy football app where basically you fill out, well, not fantasy football, fantasy sports. You fill out your lineup with your props over and under. You get to choose. The more that you hit correct, the more that your points come out. And right now, if you use the promo code APONTE, APONTE, you will get 100% match return on your first deposit up to $100. So download the app on iOS, on Google Play, or you can just go to thrivefantasy.com. Make sure you use that promo code APONTE, APONTE, to make sure you get your first deposit match. Tap in with those guys, and yeah, we just got to pay some bills. So what's up with everybody, man? What's been going on? What's been going on around here? So let's start with the obvious stuff. This week, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to everybody who is, hitting that like button, messing with you guys. So this Tom Brady thing is starting to get a little bit more steam in terms of who's saying what. More people are whispering, things like that. But there was one particular report that came out from everyone's favorite 49er analyst, a guy who loves the 49ers and is completely objective with the 49ers. And I'm talking about Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. If you guys are not aware, that's sarcasm because that's not true at all. With Mike Florio, big Vikings fan, and a guy who, for whatever reason, likes to stir the pot with the 49ers. So I want to read something from an article that he wrote in which he's predicting Tom Brady will be the week 1 starter. Okay, I'm going to read the email for you. I got a great email. Florio said, I don't know that the person wants his name to be shared, but it's explaining what's going on with Tom Brady. Classic midlife crisis. Step 1, a divorce from the Patriots. Step 2, a short-term relationship with a trophy girl, the Buccaneers. Step 3, a late-night text, you up text, basically, to the high school sweetheart, a.k.a. the 49ers. I'm telling you, it's unavoidable. He's not going to lower himself to dirty himself the way that Aaron Rodgers is. He's going to work it all behind the scenes. I think he's going to be with the 49ers week 1. I'm rooting for that so badly. So let's break all of that down. That first scenario is the only way that it really could work. But that last portion of it, I'm rooting for this, that doesn't make it seem like that's something that somebody is really talking about that's tangible. It seems like someone who, in the interest of content, in the interest of chaos, because that's what he does with the 49ers and all of their news, that's the thing that doesn't. And look, Florio's track record is not great in terms of calling things out, right? Like for the 49ers. And, for a long time, who knows, right? The 49ers don't leak. MKib6 shirt, where'd you get it? Yeah, from Warriors World, man. You guys need to go hop over to them too, warriorsworld.com. They have 50% off on all 49ers merch with no promo code right now, including this shirt right here. So, go hop over there and let them know that I sent you over there too as well. Shout out to the Warriors World boys, man. They're always showing love and sending the product. But back to Mike Florio, it's more about his disposition towards the 49ers and the way that he twists the news for the 49ers. And he's not tapped in. He's a guy that is just wanting to cause chaos, right? That's the issue more than anything. And Daniel hit it right on the head right here. Florio ain't no Glazer, right? Like when Jay Glazer says something, you stand at attention and you know that, right? Like you know that he's talking to someone. Or he is parroting something that is very, very tangible and real and realistic, right? So with this Florio thing, it's giving it more legs, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything in terms of like, is this truer today than it was, or is it truer this week than it was last week, right? When it was just something that was floated out there on Twitter, or it was floated out by that Boston sports media place where they were just talking about a scenario which was completely bonkers about trading Jimmy Garoppolo to the Bucks. And, we all know that why that won't happen. Bruce Arians won't allow that. So let's take some questions real quick. Rashawn Davis. Jason, do you think Trey gets scrutinized as much as he does because he comes from NDSU instead of being, let's say, from Bama, Clemson, FSU? In other words, do you think he faces the same flack? He doesn't. And I'm glad you brought that up, Rashawn, because people always want to bring up the FCS stuff, but they scrutinize him in a way that they don't, like when Bama quarterbacks come out and they don't pan out. Everybody wants to see what Tua still got. Everybody wants to see what Jalen Hurts still has. Everyone is all over Mac Jones, right? And there's plenty of people that have played at better schools in terms of competition that get a lot more leeway than he does. People are ready to open and shut the book on Trey already, and he's only had 10 quarters of play. So I think that's a great point, Rashawn. I really do think that's a great point. It's really strange. I don't know what it is. I talked about it when we spoke with Brad on Wednesday about people are so dug in on their analysis. They're dug in on their stance and need to be right that they're hoping that Trey isn't good, as opposed to using new information to change your thought process. And that's not one way to do that. That's not the way to do football opinions. That's not the way to move through life either. That's good life advice. When new information presents itself in front of you, you should be able to either reverse course or tweak your thought process. That's the thing. Is so many of these people have dug their heels into Trey's not ready, Trey's going to be a bust, Trey is so raw that it blinds them from any sort of progression and all of those things. So I guess that's a good segue into the other thing that happened this past week. My guy Javier Vega, shout out to Javi, man. If you guys are not following him on Twitter, make sure you're following him, Javier Veg _ He showed some practice videos, and not from camp at all, right? Because I got a lot of questions about that when I retweeted them. Oh, is this from camp? No, Trey was impressive in camp when I was there for the 2 weeks. He wasn't doing that you guys see on the tape, right? And sure, here's your complaints. They're not going to sack the quarterback. Oh, things are moving slow. Oh, it's on the run. All of those things. All of those things are true. But I think what you should be impressed with is those throws, no matter against what competition, no matter the speed, are not in the bag of a certain quarterback that will not be named at this point. They're just not in that bag at all. And that's not my opinion. That's an objective fact. That's it. So, yeah, 49er fans, you should get excited because that's during the season. And again, a lot of the issues that many people have about Trey Lance, about what's going on with his development is you're not seeing it because practices aren't available to you. So it's funny to me, many of us are here from, don't do this, bro. All of this interference to just run Nate Sudfeld out there week one. I love it. But the funny thing to me is, and we're all largely here from 49ers Twitter, right? Is people will tell you with their whole chest in a tweet, he's not developing in practice. He's not making the strides. You got invited to practice? You get to talk to coach and you know what the plan is? Man, that's impressive. Matt Mayoko doesn't have that. He has guys telling him things, but he can't see the practices because they're not open to media, because they're installing game plans and they're using him in different ways. Really funny to me how people, again, have dug in to their stance so hard that they say a whole bunch of things like that don't make sense at all. At all. Like, hey, he's not developing in practice. How do you know? How do you know? You're not there. You're not there. So when people say things with their whole chest, I find it funny. If you want to say something with your chest and use game film, cool. Go for it. You might be wrong, but at least you have something to point to. For you to say with your whole chest the whole time, he's not developing in practice. He's not taking the strides. Why do you think this, and this? You are making things up. You are making things up. And you are trying to perpetuate whatever narrative it is that you want to happen because you are so dug in and cannot change your mind. Really funny. Trey Lance is really, really funny, man. So let's get to some of these. Comments real quick. Let's see. Dusty Gold said, saw Javi's film on Trey. More accurate, moving, seems to have shorter, quick motion and is wind up in the pocket. More from his ear. Interesting seeing this. Yeah, Dusty. So in Mobile, Javi and I saw Quincy Avery, and we got a chance to ask him, is Trey going to work with you? And he said Trey's going to work with, I forget the guy's name, John Beck, for the first half of the offseason. And then the second half of the offseason, he's going to come meet with Quincy. So that's other things that they're going to work on. We didn't really get a chance to ask him what they would be focused on. So don't ask for that. But Quincy said, yeah, he was like, I'll see him, at the end of March. So yeah, man, Trey's working, man. And Brandon Ayuk will be out there with him as well too. Let's see. Those throws on practice would have been drops or INTs in a real game. I don't know about that. That ball was like, it was behind guys, and they were like Jimmy Ward wouldn't have been able to do nothing with that throw. That was like behind his ear, like the other side. And the guy had to go back this way. So if Jimmy Ward's here and the ball's thrown up here, I mean, he's not going to be able to do that on sheer velocity. Might be incomplete? Maybe. That might be fair. But interception, I don't think that's what it would be. What's up, Wanda? What's going on? Thank you for tapping in. Need Jason to the combine. Just waiting on my invite, guys. Waiting on my invite. While you guys are here, 10 minutes in, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. We're going to start churning out as much content as we can. And yeah, hopefully we get to the combine so I can talk with you guys and chop it up after what I saw, because Senior Bowl was one thing, but combine's the next thing. So NFL, man, send the approval. Come on. Let's see. Those guys don't have my unnamed sources, bro. Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to name their sources, but yeah, unnamed sources are always big. Dawson, also speaking of that footage, where was that on the spreadsheet? Ooh, you said that. I didn't say that. You said that. I did not say that. So, Daniel, Jimmy told AD 49ers he's not developing. That short man does not know Jimmy Garoppolo, man. Like, it's not true. So, Mark, how much of Trey's struggles versus Seattle and Arizona can be tied to the thumb injury versus Las Vegas? Seemed a lot more poised versus Houston. This is a great question, Mark. And this is a great question, Mark, not question mark. Got it. I think I believe it was Jay Glazer who was talking about if he had not hurt his finger in the Vegas game, that there was a real discussion about should he start. Now, don't quote me on that, and you guys will probably pull it up in the chat. So, make sure that I got that right and hold me to task on that one. But I think that was a little bit more severe than let on. And we know how the 49ers are with their injuries. So that's a very good question. I feel like the Seattle game was just, he was thrown into the fire. The game plan was for Jimmy. The Arizona game, I felt like Kyle didn't know what to do more than anything. And look how close they got to almost beating like the red hot Cardinals. You can't beat the Cardinals in September, October. Like if you'd have played them in December, he would have had a good shot because, that's where they lose. Shots at Cliff Kingsbury. But I think that the Arizona game was a little bit more about Kyle not knowing what he could do with him, not running the ball as much, the QB power too much. And I don't think that Kyle had his right footing. And then the first half of the Houston game was a little bit more of the same, even though for everybody to say, well, Trey struggled largely in that first half, I feel like he was fine. The offense just was a little stagnant, just missing a little here and there. He was 10 of 13. Like the guy wasn't just wildly missing guys, but the offense wasn't moving. And then in the second half, it all clicked. And then you got the glimpse of what things can look like when things are rolling, regardless of the opponent. Don't tell me it was just the Texans. Their pass defense was actually very good. It was the run defense that could be had. So, again, in the same way that, guys give credit to other quarterbacks for whenever they beat inferior teams, it's like as soon as Trey does something, well, it was just the Texans. Nah, you can't have it both ways, man. You really can't, especially in his second start. So I think that's a great question mark. Let's see. Talking to you, Joe Montana, I don't trust that Joe Montana fellow. Yeah, he's the best linebacker I ever seen. JKBG, is there a detriment to having two separate quarterback coaches in the offseason? What if Beck's advice and directions contradict with Quincy's? That's what worries me, even if it's trivial. That's a very good way to look at it, too. And you know what? I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. And I'm not going to pretend to. I don't have an answer for that, but that's a very good way to think about that. And in a way, you almost kind of want Beck and Avery to be on the same page in terms of what you're working on, what you're seeing. Like Beck should be able to see him for a little while and say, okay, now when he gets to you work on this, this, and this, it shouldn't be okay, we're going to work on this. And then you work on something that completely contradicts that. So that's not a bad sentiment. I don't know how that dynamic works. And I'm not going to pretend to act like I know. So I'll say I don't know on that one. Let's see. The throws are laser beams and in the defender's blind spots. People think they would have been picked. I don't think they would have been picked. Um, Good for you, Tribe. Congratulations, man. Enjoy the win. I mean, I'll tell you this. If my team won a Super Bowl, I wouldn't be on YouTube and other people's things. It's a whole week. I would still be wilding. I would still be in bars. I would still be running through the streets naked. So, I mean, happy for you, bro. But I would use my time more wisely if my team was Super Bowl champion. Just a thought. All right. Let's see what we got here. My goodness. Have I seen Peacemaker? No, because I'm stuck on Euphoria right now, and Euphoria's got me in a headlock, and I can't put my attention to two different things. I just finished season 1 of Euphoria. When I get off of here, I'm gonna dive into season 2, and I should be ready to go for tomorrow's episode. But that show is insane. Peacemaker is gonna be the perfect change off from that because it's not as serious and it's not as dark. It's not as stressful. So I can't wait to jump into Peacemaker, but I'm saving that for after getting through this ride that is Euphoria, which is just one of the most chaotic shows I've ever seen in my life. But yeah. Let's see. I smell straw, man. You guys are funny, man. So he hasn't thrown any drops. Okay. So I think that's, we talked about Brady. We talked about Trey Lance. But when you're talking about Brady, it's just you have to look at the people who are saying what they're saying, what's their track record, how they look around with this team. So I think that's really where you should be looking at it. With the Trey Lance thing, those practice film clips shouldn't make you believe that he's like this Hall of Famer now, right? But it should show you some of the things that have people excited in terms of his physical gifts, the things he can do if he's given a little time. And 49er fans should be excited. Anybody dousing this with like their water, like, wow, it's just practice. Wow. The other guy can't do that. He can't. Not in practice, not in a game. So just, put things in perspective. Put things in perspective. That's it. Like, it's not, again, it's February. All right, so let's get into this. The whole Trey Lance, is he ready thing. It's February 19th. What does he need to be ready for? Is there a game next week? Does camp start next week? Does camp start this week? He doesn't have to be ready right now. I don't know. He doesn't have to be ready now. He has to be ready when they get to camp and they start moving in that way. And that's up to the coaches to decide. If Tom Brady is an option, then fine. For 1 year, let's make it happen because it puts the 49ers in a spot where they can win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady is nowhere near washed. He threw 44 touchdowns this past year. And at the end of the year, his weapons were largely diminished. So I get that part. But this whole is Trey ready thing, he doesn't have to be ready. It's February 19th. He doesn't have to be ready. He has to be ready when it's time to go to camp. He has to be ready when the games get started. So it's calm down. Relax, guys. I know, look, I thought we were done with the whole quarterback thing. That's what made the NFC Championship loss so much easier to kind of digest walking out of SoFi Stadium. I didn't have my head down. I was sad, clearly. But I also thought, hey, cool. Now we know where we're going now. So many teams get to the NFC Championship and then they're stuck in this limbo of who are we? Who's the quarterback? Can we do it again? Are we going to run it back with this team? No, you turn the page now and you're in a different direction now. And I think that was something that 49er fans, understandably, you're upset. But you are in a position that many other teams aren't when they lose an NFC Championship. Those teams are built to win, but they're built to win that year. And they don't have a plan going forward after that. The 49ers do. So that's something that you should be optimistic about. It's just, I don't get it, in terms of all of the, well, he needs to be ready right now. There's no games this week. There's no practice this week. Keep working. Come back in July when everything gets wrapped up and gets ramped up again. Then we'll see. It's weird. It's just weird how people talk about that. So, let's see. Talk to him, Debbie. How do you call yourselves faithful and not be excited? I love Jimmy G, but I'm faithful and excited for Trey. That's it. You know how many people get that close to a Super Bowl and then have a guy that exciting waiting in the wings? That's the part, man. I don't understand sometimes the look. There's a fine line between realistic and pessimistic, right? But you can't be mad at 49er fans who want to be optimistic because of the circumstances. And that's why, if you notice, it's funny. The odds around the 49ers, not knowing how this roster is going to fill out, not knowing what quarterbacks are going where, the 49ers are the fourth highest, have the fourth highest odds to go to the Super Bowl. Because conventional wisdom would tell you this is a team that just went this far with this quarterback. Now, you insert this quarterback, and if he gives you a 5%, 10% increase with all of the things he can do, look out. And that's the way people are viewing it. There's nothing wrong with viewing it that way. There's nothing wrong with you also saying, I'm not certain that things are going to go that way, because that's a very valid point. But to sit here and say, well, who cares? That was just practice. That doesn't mean anything. Or he's not the, like, that is overly negative. And for me, that sounds like you perpetuating your narrative of things that you want instead of being fluid when it comes to all sorts of evaluations, situations, player progress. All of those things need to remain fluid. You know, there are guys who have come into this league, lit the league on fire, not done anything. There's guys who have come into this league and started slowly and become Hall of Famers. Where does Trey Lance land in that? I don't know yet. But there's examples of both on both sides. High picks bust, low picks pop, and vice versa. It's just how the game is, and it's all relative to the quarterback. That's why I don't necessarily like the whole Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes thing. I think that that's not an apples to apples comparison, because Patrick Mahomes came into this league and lit the league on fire. I think Trey Lance is going to do some very special things when he finally starts. But to expect what Patrick Mahomes did because of one situation in another place, I don't know if that's the correct way to look around about this. So, all right, let's keep looking at some comments real quick. Shout out to everybody that's in here. 22 minutes again. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We got a lot of good stuff coming to you guys. So let's see. I don't know. Tom Brady and Bruce Arians bumped heads a lot at first. Gonna need Kyle to let Brady cook. Yeah, and Bruce had to, bring his offense to him a little bit, but it still had a lot of deep shots in it. So it wasn't necessarily like Arians. Like, if Arians got his hands on Jimmy Garoppolo, he would have to change his entire offense. No risk it, no biscuit has to go out the window, because we know who's not going to risk it. So no biscuit. So that's the weird part. Like, Brady still takes shots down the field. For as much as people say about, Brady's arm, the man's 44 and he's slinging this thing down the field. Like, you're never going to see anybody like Brady. But yeah, apparently that's what's been coming out, is just a little bit of the bumping of heads. And that's what somebody pointed out. I'm not trying to throw gas on the fire, but this is kind of interesting. When Tom Brady retired on Instagram, it sounded like he was just saying bye to Tampa Bay, not the National Football League, like Tampa Bay. Like, thank you for your time here, but leaving the door open. But again, there's a lot of maneuvering that needs to happen. And again, we'll cross that bridge if we ever get there. And right now, all of this is just gossip. And it's just gossip, and it's just rumors, and it's just people, driving that narrative. So, yeah. Let's see. All fantasy analysts worth their salt are all in on Trey, but these wannabe faithful are telling me to be worried. Daniel, talk to him, man. I mean, that rushing floor is dope, man. I mean, that's where it is. Let's see. Rashawn, Jimmy took us as far as he could. 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl while completely healthy, but he has proven that he is far as capable as taking us. He's shown his limitations. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a starter somewhere next year. He is going to be one of those guys that, while you're developing a guy behind the scenes, he can start and win you some games. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Thank you, Jimmy Garoppolo, for everything. We'll always have the memories, have some laughs, have some fun. Good luck, Godspeed going forward with whatever your new team is, and wishing nothing but the best, buddy. That's it. So, I can't say it any better than that at this point. So, coaching changes. I want to make sure I get this right, and for anybody who can actually provide me with the names, I just want to make sure we get it right. I'm going to pull this up real fast. Give me a sec. While I do that, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, A lot of good content coming this week. But the 49ers lost another coach today, as they usually do, because the 49ers have a Pro Bowl roster of coaches. And that's just how it goes. First of all, shout out to Brian Flores for getting a job, even though he shouldn't have to be a defensive assistant. But very shocking to see that he actually got a job. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. Shout out to the actual Roonies who are named after the Rooney Rule for doing that. But I want to make sure I get the name right because, all right, James Betker is expected to fill the vacant linebacker's job with the Bengals. So the 49ers are, again, promoting coaches. Guys are moving on. Everybody's trying to pick away from this tree. But the one thing I will say is the 49ers are so great at filling gaps. The Anthony Lynn move was a precursor to Mike Daniel being moved, and I love it. I love it. It's a beautiful move. You know, there was rumors about Vic Fangio coming in as a defensive consultant. I would love that because I'm sorry, guys, DeMeco Ryans is going to be a head coach somewhere next year. I was shocked that it almost happened this year. Oh, here he is. Hey, man. Don Burr. What's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while, but Stafford did it, man. Sorry. I don't know how that makes you feel. It seemed like a lot of Detroit fans wanted it, but I know how you feel like about him. So I'm gonna let you talk it out in the comments. But yeah, back to the 49ers coaches. A name that's been floated out there, Ken Norton. I don't know. He was a DC. I don't know if that's possible. But I do trust this front office to make sure that they get somebody in here who is going to be complimentary, wants to do what they want to do. And yeah, the 49ers are just great. Like they have this entire farm system for the last 2 years, and it's going to be a third year next year. Someone from their staff has gotten a head coaching job. Salah, McDaniel, and then Ryan. I think there needs to be something that's said about that. And I think that a lot of people are starting to gravitate towards the whole, you know, the Shanahan way is kind of the new league norm because everybody, one way or another, you run Shanahan's offense one way or another. Whether you run everything like that, whether you run pre-snap motion, whether you run, you know, with fullbacks and things like that, like you are taking something. This is so much of a copycat league that right now, so many teams are moving in that direction. And a lot of people want to be on the cutting edge of it. That's why so many people got jobs on the heels of, you know, he took an elevator with Kyle Shanahan. Okay, Sean McVay, you're in. Okay, Matt LaFleur, you're in. Like that sort of thing. People want that sort of that new thing, right? And that's where the league is going at this point. So I wouldn't be overly concerned with who the 49ers have lost. You know, Wes Welker left. Leonard Hankerson, I believe, is being promoted as well too. So it's a good thing in my opinion, right? Like it's not good to lose quality coaches, right? It's not good. But if you trust this front office, then you should trust them to replace them and put guys in positions to succeed. And I think they do. And I think they have a plan, obviously. Anthony Lynn comes in right before Mike McDaniel moves on and takes a job in Miami. So, again, it looks like there will be 3 straight years of this organization having a coach promoted and become a head coach somewhere else. There is something that needs to be said about that. So, yeah. Kylie, what's up, bro? Shout out to everybody in here. We almost got 200 people in here on a Saturday on something that I normally don't do. But, yeah, I had to talk with you guys for a little bit. I felt like, we've been out of touch for a little bit, Make sure you guys subscribe to Sprint Right Option Podcast anywhere that you get your audio podcast. We just dropped 2 audio-only podcasts with free agent profiles. The first was Lakin Tomlinson. The second was DJ Jones. We've got one Monday about Jaquaski Tart. So make sure you guys are tapped in on that. The YouTube is going to take a little step back as we do make a transition into some more audio only. But I promise you that it's a good thing, and we'll have more to explain when things get finalized. So I know we've been teasing stuff about like a bigger thing, but it's not done yet, and we just have to make sure that it's fully done so we don't jinx anything or look foolish. So, but shout out to you guys for rocking with me tonight on a Saturday. So, yeah, let's keep going. Mr. Cartier, let us as a fan base really support our team no matter who at quarterback. They definitely gonna need us next season. Just saying, yeah, and that's the thing is. You can absolutely feel the way that you feel about Jimmy Garoppolo while also being excited about Trey Lance. Both things can be true. And you can also thank Jimmy Garoppolo for what he's done. Both things can be true. It's just the dynamic again, and I've said it a million times, the discussion is too heavy on one side and too heavy on the other side, and the answer is somewhere here in the middle. And people just have a hard time with getting to that point. Even though you guys are kind of saying the same things, you're just saying it, you're just trying to say it louder than the other, or you're just trying to call the other person a name. So Let's see. Let's see. Ellis. Jason, bro, Tom Brady rumors, do they have the cap? Side thought, I believe the fear of bringing Tom Brady in the first time around was that he may have degraded given his age. And you know what? Two things. First off, you're absolutely right about the whole degrading given his age thing. Because coming off of that Super Bowl, many of us, and I don't want to hear anybody lying about this. It's very much revisionist history now for people to be outraged. Many of us, most of us, a majority, a strong amount of us said, why are you going to replace Jimmy Garoppolo and he got this close to a Super Bowl with a guy who you better keep it a buck in the chat. You better keep it a buck. While he was with the Patriots, many people were like, he's washed. Oh, he's done. He lost to the Titans in Foxborough. He's done. Look, it's okay to look yourself in the mirror and say you're wrong. I was wrong. The majority of us were wrong. Absolutely were wrong, right? So for me, for people to say, well, they made the right decision the first time, we thought they did. And that's a good way of looking at it because you all figured, hey, Jimmy's going to have another year, run it back, revenge tour. He's just going to get better. This team is still built to win. They're still young. They still got studs. And then you realize that nothing in this league is actually guaranteed. And then Brady goes over with all those weapons, and then he wins a bowl. And then we have a little bit of egg on our face. That's it. So, look, that is revisionist history. For people to be outraged now are the same people that were telling you, I don't want him. He's washed. He didn't play well in his last year with the Patriots. And we want to stick with the guy that got us this far that quickly. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out there. And as far as the cap, Ellis, I don't think that he wants a bag now at this point. Like if he comes over to the 49ers at this point, it's more to just satisfy that urge of, hey, maybe I can win a Super Bowl with them. But I want him to come over here as a free agent. I don't know how that happens. I don't know if that's possible because the Bucs still own his rights. But I don't think money's an object. Tom Brady is wildly rich. His wife is rich. He doesn't need anything. Right now, if he's coming over here, it's to prove a bigger point and do something that he's dreamed of doing. So I wouldn't necessarily think that he's going to come over here and say, oh, I want my 40 M's a year. I don't know about that. And if he does, maybe they'll find a way to work around it. But I just get this sense that if Tom Brady comes back, it's not going to be for money. It's going to be to do something that he's always dreamed of doing, which is try to win a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. So hope I answered that, Ellis. Let's keep going. Thank you for the donation, bro. Come on. Every stop to Tom and Aaron. It's not happening. Trust the process. Hey, look, I agree. Play the kid. I have to address the things that are like still out there, So I agree. I am not upset if Trey Lance is starting, and if Kyle says, you know what, Brady? No, we're going to roll with the kid. Good. Then let's rock. Start the development. I'm with it. But if Kyle says, bring on Brady, that's the only person that I would be okay with sitting Trey for one more year for, because I know what he brings and I know how good he is and I know how close the 49ers got. And I know that lift that he gives at quarterback puts the 49ers right back in that discussion. But I don't disagree with you, that Niner guy. I do not. Aaron Rodgers is not coming here. So that one's like, get that one out of here. That's not happening. And I don't think he's going anywhere at all, right? Like when you listen to him talk at the NFL Honors, kind of felt like he reconciled and it's just, they called his bluff. They basically called his bluff, like retire, because we're not going to trade you anywhere. And he won't do that. So I think he's going to stay. And think about it. Matt LaFleur is going to give away Aaron Rodgers to the 49ers and then rebuild with Jordan Love. I don't see how that works. The 49ers don't have assets to give up anyway for that anyway. So I think the Aaron Rodgers thing is like done. Like if there is any chance of anybody as Tom Brady, even if it's a 1% chance at this point because he's retired. That's the best way I could probably put it, in my opinion. Let's see. All right. Yep. Sin, how are you? Hindsight is 2020, 100%. 100%. Let's see. I want Tom Brady, and I'm not a Jimmy stan. Quick trying to categorize when I feel Trey is the future of this team. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody's really doing that. Yeah. I think the Bucs cut Brady before the new year starts. Abel, talk about it, and if they do, then go get on that phone. You better go check it out, 49ers. You better go. You better at least make the call. Make the call, man. You made the call on Aaron Rodgers on draft night when you had pick 3. Make the call. I agree, Abel. Shout out to Ellis, man. Yes, please hit that like button, guys. This is a lot of fun this episode. So let's see. Tom Brady would come back for that Bruce and Bill pack for free. Woo! Man, wouldn't it be a story? The guy who replaced Brady goes, can't win a championship. Tom Brady goes, restores glory to the 49ers with a 6th ring. I know we're dreaming right now because it's February, but that's pretty juicy. And that's something that I don't think any 49er fan would be mad at. At the end of the day, all of us, what do we want? We want number 6. I don't care how we get it. Don't care. If Trey is the way, cool. Go. Kick off the development. Tom Brady wants to roll. Let's roll. Let's roll. I'm with it. Let's see. Sir Lance, the king of the NFC. I love that. Jason, I was about to chat. Oh no, you're good, bro. I'm just trying to answer the questions. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be better with the, just having discourse, right? Like not attacking anybody. Like let's talk, right? So I mean, yeah, I never thought you did. I just was addressing that. Kali, Jason, is there a DE in the draft you have your eye on that we could possibly scoop up in the draft? There is. Arnold Ebukati from Penn State at 61 would be electric. Strong, bendy, athletic. Looks like D Ford. Put him right. He's a plug and play guy. Play him right away across from Nick Bosa. I love Ebukati. I think you guys should check him out. He was a standout the entire time in Mobile, man. He was crushing guys. He was one of the better edges out there. Other guys are going to go a little bit ahead of him. Jermaine Johnson was incredible. I believe his name is Mayfield from Minnesota. He was killing guys too. But Ebukati is the guy that might be around at 61. So they've got a decision to make whether they go edge, whether they go safety. But Ebukati jumped off the tape and in practice all the time. So I implore you guys to check him out. Number 17 on Penn State. United by Nature, shout out to you, man, for the donation. Sir Lance, the king of the NFC. I heard you, man. Heard you. Daniel, it wasn't just his bluff. Sounds like he ironed out the relationship with the front office and really liked those guys. Draft Devontae in fantasy. Yeah, I'm holding on to my Devontae stocks. I don't want him going anywhere else because that magic that he and Rodgers has, it's not gonna. He's still the best in the game, I think, right now. In terms of route running, but yeah, man, you know the vibes, Daniel. You know the vibes. Good take on Rodgers. Appreciate you, Rich. Let's see. Jordan Love, from what I've seen, has good mental aspect of football from learning behind Rodgers, but major accuracy issues. The Packers are going to be looking for another QB, maybe, but it's just hard to move away from that guy because Rodgers still has so much. I mean, back-to-back MVP, man. So maybe I like your assessment, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't necessarily dove into Jordan Love that much just because. His first year, he was absolutely inactive. Like, he wasn't even the backup. Trey Lance was the backup. Jordan Love was the third quarterback inactive. So I don't know if that tells you a little bit more of where they think he is with his progressions. But in the same breath that I just told you guys not to jump out the window about Trey Lance's progressions because we're not at practice, I guess the same could be said about Jordan Love, for sure. All right. Let's see. Let's keep going. 49ers are awesome. Yep. Don't understand why everybody thinks 49ers are going to pay Arden Key. Same situation with Ronald Blair and Sheldon Day. They can get production with anyone next to Bosa and Armstead and Chris Kosuri. I will say this. Arden Key was a savvy move, but this organization does an amazing job of betting on traits and getting the most out of them with Chris Kosuri. So, yeah, that's not a bad sentiment. It just depends on what his market is, but I think that Arden Key has played himself into, when you look at traits and production, especially down the stretch, has played himself into a little bit of a payday. So, yeah, I think he's going to get paid. So, let's see. Mr. Cartier asked, but now let me ask, can we honestly say Trey Lance will win the NFC West in 2022? Because I don't know. See, here's the thing. That's a good way of looking at it. But we don't know how rosters are going to look right now, right? Russell Wilson might not be on Seattle. Who knows what the hell's going on in Arizona? How many of those guys from the Rams are coming back? What additions do the 49ers make? That's why it's a little bit, I guess you're ahead of yourself now when you're starting to do what's the win-loss record based on opponents. That's a little bit tougher for me right now because you have no idea what rosters are going to look like. You have no idea how people are going to gel. So it's tough to say, but I would just table that discussion for a little while. Let's get to camp, see some preseason action, then we can start getting there. But it is fun to talk about, so I'm not going to, tell you guys to not talk about it. But it's just I can't give any sort of prediction right now because I don't know what teams look like, and I don't know what this team is going to look like. Because it's funny, we had the opponent list last year. You see the Bucks, you see the Saints. Well, the Saints don't have a coach or a quarterback. The Bucs don't have a quarterback right now. So those games that you were probably like, oh man, they're going to be in a dogfight. Are they now? So it's everything's fluid. Just table the discussion for a little while. I understand it's a talking point because it is fun to talk about, but yeah, I would have a hard time trying to pick a win-loss record at this point. So Abel, I'm just waiting for my credential. I've been refreshing my email every single day, just hoping that the approval pops up. And if it does, I'm off to Indy and I'll be there at the combine for sure. So fingers crossed. Y'all throw some good positive energy out into the world. Let's make it happen. Let's see what happens. Think the Saints take a look at Jimmy. I would have if Sean Payton was there. I just don't know now. I mean, the three quarterbacks that they have right now are Ian Book, Trevor Siemian, and Taysom Hill. Not great, Bob. And I don't know if they're ready to compete either. So I don't know where they stand. I don't know what Dennis Allen's thinking now that he's the coach or what they're really thinking going forward. So tough to say. If Sean Payton was there, I would have thought that they would have done that because I want to make sure I say this correctly. Drew Brees at the end of his career wasn't exactly throwing the ball down the field. He's a quick timing, precision guy. Like, listen, just stay with me. I'm not, but Jimmy, wants to get the ball out fast and short throws, right? So that's it. No way am I comparing the two. Don't do that. Don't cut this and say, look at what Jason said. I didn't say that. I'm just trying to tell you the style of offense. So, Kellerman and Kyle Trask too. Ooh, Kyle Trask is the only quarterback under contract right now for the Bucs. Kyle Trask. Who's going to be where? Again, where did I get this shirt? WarriorsWorld.com. You guys need to go over there. They have a 50% off sale on all 49ers gear with no promo code, including this shirt, the WRB1 Deebo Samuel holding up the chain shirt, the Candlestick Legend shirt. Man, you guys need to get over there. Shout out to Warriors World. Get over there and go cop yourself some merch because that stuff does not stay in stock, especially now that it's 50% off with no promo code. So Warriors World, make sure you check that out. So Mike, I agree. First team reps are going to be huge for him. So Rob, what's up, buddy? 42 minutes in. Let's see. Here we go. Just another guy. Just because you're a homie, I watched the tape on Ebukati. Really good pass rusher, but awful in the run game. I don't know. The Michigan game shows it all. So here's the thing. D Ford, when he got here, his first press conference was, I don't care about run game. You know what my job is? Go. So if Ebukati becomes that obvious passing down other guy on the other side, then I think it's fine. At 61, plug and play. They're going to want to do that. And Kinlaw, let's see if DJ Jones comes back. They won't attack them necessarily outside on the run because the 49ers have very good linebackers who can get over and flow over. Also, who knows who their nickel corner is going to be. So I wouldn't necessarily harp on the run defense portion of it too much. I'm just talking about from a strict pass rush thing, like Bosa and him. That's Ford and Bosa again from 2019, and he's younger and he'll be cost controlled for much less. So, I mean, valid concern for sure, but just got to hope that he progresses. But thank you for the donation. As always, Nana guy, you always showing love, man. Appreciate you, bro. You got it. You got to get into the combine. I know I'm trying, man. I'm really trying. Let's see. Bro, they gave away so many times the Rams would win the Super Bowl. Y'all live off team narratives. The NFL is sports entertainment. I mean, I don't know. I just think the Rams did a really good job stuffing the run. And they, George Kittle talked about it. They jumped into A and B gaps. I mean, it's tough to beat a team in this league 3 times. And, credit to the Rams. Yeah. Let's see. Grant Cohn compared trade generation talent to young Muhammad Ali. Grant's my guy, but you know how he does with the hyperbole. He's got to chill out on that a little bit. That's way too lofty expectations. When I say things like, man, if Trey Lance is 70% of what Aaron Rodgers is or 65% of Patrick Mahomes, huge win. Huge W. So just chill on the hyperbole because that's where you're going to set yourself up for the disappointment more than anything. So I love Grant, man. I can't wait to do a show with him again. Shout out to him, man. I know he was going through something with his family and everything, man. But yeah, the Ali comparison had context to it. All right, well, give it to me and let's talk. I haven't seen that. So If somebody has the context, then we can discuss it. So, hey, 45 minutes in. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Also, real quick, while we got a second and we wait for that context, I want to talk to you guys about Thrive Fantasy. Okay, Thrive Fantasy is a new way for you to play fantasy sports where you fill out your lineup with over under props, and the more props you hit, the more points you get, and you have a chance to win over $120,000 up to $1 million have been given out on the app. All you have to do is when you sign up, use the promo code APONTE to get an 100% first time deposit match up to $100. All you have to do, sign up on iOS, Google Play, or thrivefantasy.com, punch in the promo code APONTE so you get 100% back. Let them know that Jay sent you. Pay some bills that way, man. But enjoy that. I have a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun in the Super Bowl with it. Basically setting a fantasy lineup, doing over-unders. The more that you hit, the more points you get, and that's how you get to it. So let's see. Unfortunately, his mother passed away, Corey. Yeah. So Mr. Cartier, thank you for joining, bro. Appreciate you, man. Carolina might make sense for Jimmy G. They could win their division. Here's the thing, Richard. They picked up Sam Darnold's 5th, and they already sent draft capital for him. It's like, how much draft capital can you send at this point for guys? So I don't know, and it does bring up a good point. And I'm glad that Richard brought this up because now we're going to talk Jimmy trade market. Everybody has in their mind some preconceived notion of what they think they're going to get for Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Based on play. I don't think his play this year elevated or dropped his draft capital that he can return in any way. But what I will say that is raising it is two things. One, it's going to be really thin out here for free agent quarterbacks, and I'm not really big on the NFL draft quarterbacks at this point. I don't think many of them are plug and play starters, right? And two, you have to start looking at coaches on or close to the hot seat. And what I mean by that is like a Ron Rivera, right? We all know how dysfunctional the Washington Commanders front office is. I'm still trying to get used to saying that in terms of not giving guys chances, right? So let me ask you a question. Washington, Houston, Carolina, maybe they draft a guy. But is that coach going to be around to develop that quarterback when they fire him because it's a results-driven business? That's why Jimmy Garoppolo's draft stock goes up a little bit in terms of capital because he's won games in this league. And if you can buy yourself another year of employment with Jimmy Garoppolo winning games for you, who cares about the next guy if you're going to be fired in a year? That's the part that never really makes sense to me. Well, you got to play the kid. That coach is not going to be there. Lovie Smith is set up to fail in Houston. He could play Davis Mills and develop him all he wants, which he did. Davis Mills did a really good job this year. Lovie Smith feels like one and done, unfortunately. But if Jimmy Garoppolo comes in, let's say they win 9 games, now you have to make at least a tough decision on Lovie Smith, right? Or the decision won't be as simple, or people just won't accept it. That's another thing. You have to look at coaches and organizations that are starving for success. Washington was supposed to be a really, really good team this year because of what they did the year before. Defense, Ryan Fitzpatrick, they add Curtis Samuel, another year of Antonio Gibson. Things didn't play out that way. So again, I'm not saying that Ron Rivera is on the hot seat. I'm just saying crazier things have happened in Washington. And he has a sense in that building of what's going on. And it's not just him, other people. I don't understand this whole thought of like, well, you draft a guy for the future. Yeah, you're drafting the guy for the next coach because you're about to be fired. So can Jimmy Garoppolo help you with a stay of execution in terms of your job? Maybe. And maybe that helps raise his value. Just a thought. Just something to put out there. So, all right, let's get to some more comments. Trey winning MVP in 2023. Talk to him, man. Let him know. Emiliano, keep getting them checks. Trying, Emiliano. Appreciate you, man. Melanie's asking, who do you think the Niners OC will be? Kyle Shanahan. I mean, Mike McDaniel did stuff. He did. And truly, he's respected across the league. But I feel like that was a title in name only. Kyle's going to call the plays. I wouldn't be shocked if there wasn't an OC. Because this was the first year there was one. So, yeah, it's Kyle. I really wouldn't worry too much about that. I mean, and if it's anybody, maybe it's Anthony Lynn. But Anthony Lynn brings another wrinkle to the run game in terms of being able to run the ball inside, because that's what he did in Buffalo. That's what he did in at the time it was San Diego. No, it was LA actually. But yeah, I don't really think this matters as much as people are making it out to be, Melanie. But yeah. All right, let's see. I see Jimmy in Pittsburgh. He's a perfect fit for that team and the culture, in my opinion. And I will tell you this. In Mobile, Mike Tomlin spoke with Malik Willis for 45 minutes, and the large discussion around scouts and the analysts that were there when we were all hanging out, they're not going to start Malik right away if they draft him, and they're going to have to move up to get him. Insert Jimmy Garoppolo. Starts, can run the offense largely the same way that Ben did. Ben never took deep shots. Everything was all intermediate. Deontay Johnson had all those receptions. He can slide right back in. That play defense, run the ball with Najee, shore up that offensive line, and the Steelers could be a playoff team with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think this is a great one. But again, it's going to start fitting this way for Jimmy Garoppolo, where he is starting with a guy behind him because he's already done it a year, and people applaud how professional he was and how he was able to continue to work. Starting to see where this is going. So I thought that was a little bit interesting because Mike Tomlin was walking up and down looking at offensive line, and then he stood with Malik Willis for 45 minutes at the practice that he was at. So, yeah. Texans are the Lions of the AFC. Yeesh. Sorry, Don Burr. I didn't say that. Let's see. I posted the context above. Let me see. Okay. So Grant was saying how when Muhammad Ali was starting off as a boxer and you looked at the traits, he had size, speed, endurance. If you were a trainer, you'd want to groom him. Okay, that's fair. Okay, because when you say Muhammad Ali, people just automatically think the GOAT. So that's fair. Okay, that's a way better way of looking at it. Okay, I'm with it. All right. Washington and Pittsburgh are good fits for Jimmy because they can be a version of the 49ers for him. Exactly. Right. Who do you think will back up Trey? Starting quarterback, I want Colt McCoy. I want Tyrod Taylor because of Anthony Lynn. Tyrod Taylor's best years were with Anthony Lynn. The run game that they had in Buffalo, because he went from running back coach to offensive coordinator to head coach in 3 straight years. Yeah, I would love Tyrod Taylor. Colt McCoy wouldn't be bad either, though. I know we have a lot of, jokes because he beat the 49ers, but Colt McCoy's been a solid quarterback. So, Jason, you say you'd be happy with 60% Mahomes from Trey Lance. What makes Mahomes Allen so special that Trey can't reach that level in the second year? I mean, didn't he throw 50 tuds in the first year on Mahomes? That's what I mean. I'm talking about production. Like 50 tugs, like they went to the AFC Championship. He won MVP the next year. Like if he's 70% of Mahomes, you're good. What does that mean? 35 tugs? Cool. 35 through the air, 10 on the ground? Cool. So I guess in that way, I hear what you're saying here because he's doing things that Mahomes doesn't with his legs. But Mahomes lit the world on fire as soon as he joined. Paired with a great play caller and absolutely great skill position players. But yeah, that's what I mean. It's Mahomes hit the ground running. There were no bruises. Like he went through 2 years of a Cinderella story where things were just like flowing his way and nothing went wrong, right? I expect a little bit more bumps and bruises with Trey, but that's just me being cautious. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does do that, and that would be a huge W. So I guess that's where I'm at with it. Dusty says, Jason, can you talk about drafting Christian Watson? Don't do what Balky did, getting Etienne for Lawrence. They had Robinson go for the DB. Yeah, Christian Watson played himself too far out of the 49ers range at 61, unless they move up somehow. It's just the buzz is too big. He's too fast. People are calling him Martavis Bryant, which is a hell of a comp. As long as he's doesn't get in trouble like Martavis did. Martavis was a stud. I don't think people really understand that. Like the guy had a lot of off the field issues, but that man could run, he can catch. So yeah, I mean, I think in that way he just kind of played himself out of the 49ers way. And wide receiver isn't necessarily the first need. The 49ers have to draft a wide receiver. They do, but not that early because there's other positions of need, in my opinion. Just my opinion. All right, let's see. Washington was more likely to overpay for Jimmy. Ron needs a starting quarterback. Great fit, especially in a weak division. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo has a claim to being the second best quarterback in the NFC East next year if he's the Washington quarterback. No disrespect to Jalen Hurts. And if you want to say Jalen Hurts is ahead of him, cool. But he's better than Daniel Jones. He's just not better than Dak. No matter who's trying to tell you that. Someone was trying to tell you that. But it's debatable. And he would go from being the 4th best quarterback in the NFC West to the 2nd, maybe 3rd, depending on where you have Jalen Hurts. But yeah, I think that's a good call. Kevin Dunn says, drop those likes. Yeah, man. We're almost done. I'll probably just stick around for 5 more minutes. We got almost 250 people in here, man. Appreciate all you guys for rocking with me on a Saturday out of nowhere. But a lot more of these things are going to happen because we got to talk about something. And I'm not going away because they better let me in the combine. They better let me in there. Gilmore and Cordell Patterson are on my wish list. Hopefully, we can keep DJ Jones and Tomlinson. Yeah, I hope so too as well. Gilmore would be good. Just based on the track record of how they sign guys, I don't know if they would go for him. And I do have a sneaky suspicion that Jason Verrett's going to be back next year as well too. At Cordell Patterson, they got their Cordell Patterson, Debo. But they do need wide receivers. They only have 3 wide receivers right now. So we'll see. And you know how Kyle is. Hey, if they want to use Cordell Patterson more to take that punishment that Debo had out of the backfield, I'm with it. That's fine. Save the kid. Debo's got a lot more football to be played. Cordell Patterson broke out in his 8th year. So I'm with you on that one. Memphis, man, what's good, Jason? Salute, King. Talk that talk. Yeah, man, let's go. This is a good one. I love this. Ernest Johnson will be a solid pickup for the Niners running back room. I love that, man. Absolutely love that. The guy waited for his chance, got his chance, dominated on Thursday Night Football. Anytime he touched the ball, he was breaking tackles. I love this call. I really do. If not him, Justin Jackson from the LA Chargers, because he knows Anthony Lynn, and I think that he's actually a very good player as well. The 49ers do need to add one more running back if they can't get Raheem Mostert back. So, let's see. Watson is old as well. Go get me that dangerous punt returner in Calvin Austin. Talk that talk. I love Calvin Austin. For this fan base who has hyped up Trent Taylor as, he's the guy, Calvin Austin is Trent Taylor with wheels, and he's much more explosive and a better punt returner. So if you love Trent Taylor, Calvin Austin is the turbo version of him. Every time he touched the ball on screens, it's not a redundant pick. And this is what I'll say about Watson. Watson is a big guy, so they have a big guy in Jennings. Obviously, Watson's faster than Jennings. I'm not talking about that, but it does feel a little redundant, like you're stacking guys on top of guys. Calvin Austin fits perfectly in terms of yards after the catch, somebody who catches the ball behind the line of scrimmage, has a lot of wiggle, explosive, over the top. Sam Howell's best throw the entire time in Mobile was to Calvin Austin on a post route to the pylon, put it right on him. The kid was working people all week. Love this call for Calvin Austin. And he does something that the 49ers have not seen a punt returner do in a long time. Advance the ball when he catches a punt. Move the ball forward. Wild thought, right? I didn't know the punt returners could do that. Ooh, Khalil Shakir. Don't get me excited, man. We're just setting ourselves up for disappointment in the same way that I didn't get Terry McLaurin because we got Jalen Hurd. But Khalil Shakir is a baller, man. That's a good call. Absolutely. And yeah, this will be good. Calvin Austin's our Ted Ginn Jr. So yeah, I like it. Let's see. Jason, you're opposed to the 49ers situation following the NFC Championships, a whole vibe that I had to adopt. Kenyon, thank you, man. I know a lot of people wanted me to yell afterwards, but again, I felt largely at peace just because close the book, turn the page, whatever analogy you want to use, whatever cliche you want to use. Many teams that make the NFC Championship and lose have questions about what they're doing and going forward. There's no question now. It's time. And let's kick this off now. Thank you for the great season. The plan worked, even if we didn't agree. You got that close to being in a Super Bowl. But now, turn the page, and now we have a lot of things to look forward to. We get to watch a quarterback grow. Not many teams can say that. That's what had me largely at peace with that as well, too. Even if I, cried myself to sleep in my Airbnb that night. But let's see. I would not have this positive yardage on punt returns talk. Fair catch club por vida. I love it, man. I love it. Hey, by the way, Jason, try to come to the Atlanta game. Rob is going to be there too. Yeah, I'm definitely going to that Atlanta game. I got a party in Atlanta, and I got to see that stadium. The problem is they have a Chick-fil-A in their stadium, and the game's on Sunday. Make this make sense for me. Why did you put a Chick-fil-A in that stadium if the games are largely going to play on Sunday, and I can't have any? So that means I got to pull up for every time there's a Monday night game just to have Chick-fil-A at the stadium? Good Lord. All right, look, guys, we're almost here for an hour. We have 230 people in here right now. If you are new here, if you are not new here, please like this video. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Plenty of content coming this way. Shout out to everybody who tapped in with me on a Saturday on just a regular day, something that we threw out there. You guys should be, if you're in Cali, it's 6 o'clock. You have a lot of time to go party. If you're on the East Coast, it's 9 o'clock. And if you're like me and it's 9 o'clock, I'm about to go lay down, man, because it's a little too late for me to be out here yapping my mouth, and I got to get back to Euphoria. So, but shout out to everybody that's here, man. Thank you guys so much for everything, for all the support, for all the super chats. Again, I talked about Thrive. Make sure you tap in on that as well, too. Just use the promo code Aponte. Start winning yourself some money. Show me those bets on Twitter. I want to see when you guys win money and everything as well. But for now, I'm gonna leave you with what I always say. Be safe, enjoy your family, and let's go Niners. Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte.